so long is like alchemy.
New Year's Eve, it was cold out here in Phoenix, y'all, about 50 degrees. The Suns finally really committing to the youth movement. DeAnthony Melton, remember, suspended at USC. The Rockets drafted him, and then he ended up in that Brendan Knight trade. He has a high ceiling, but he's a raw guard, not a lot of experience. Mikal Bridges, the Villanova product. TJ Warren, the bucket getter, and of course, the #1 pick in Devin Booker. And so Igor starting 3 rookies now, as he really should. Now, you know, his runway may not be as long as it needs to be considering the ownership, but they're not winning anytime soon. They need to play these young players. And right away, DeAnthony jumps in the passing lane. 6'4", 200 pounds. He has all the physical attributes. Can he shoot the ball and stay on the floor at the point guard spot? KD going right at Bridges, who's very long. I like his profile. Clearly, he's not strong enough yet, right? But look at the arms. And tie his shoes without breaking at the waist. Here's a baseline camera angle, and it's TJ Warren for the 3. That's a pretty weak closeout there by Clay. Warren is newly shooting the 3 ball this year, and he's doing it effectively, so maybe Clay not aware that he's doing it, and there's Ayton with the turnaround touch. The kid's got good footwork, good finesse, but he may be lacking some of the nasty, and I like to see Draymond over there because obviously it shortens the shot, right? Can Draymond stay fully engaged and become satisfied being a spacer in the corner, though? He usually likes to touch the ball a little bit more. Steph got to the rim often despite the 7-footer's presence in there. He's not a rim protector yet. More Warren, and when have you seen Looney just get beat to the rim like this? I don't know what's going on with him, but Warren is a certified bucket getter, and I'm going to show some of his highlights because teams are going to call about TJ Warren. There's a nice fine Looney on the other end finishing strong. Now, Devin Booker was a game-time decision. I don't know if he was under the weather or what, but I liked what I saw from Booker. I'm seeing some growth. There's the catch-and-shoot corner 3. More on that later. Here's more Draymond operating from the post, and that's not going to be a high percentage shot. But I will say, with his wingspan and hand size, he could develop some nice flip post moves if he worked on it. Stop and go, and Ayton's just overzealous as a defender, and his timing is kind of bad. More D-Book. Look at him just wait, and you know what? This is going to sound a little weird, but he reminds me a bit of Harden. He really, like, the way he's starting to play with pace and understand his size, you'll see in some of these highlights, the ball moves around, and Clay got nice shots in this game. And maybe that's part of Phoenix's young, poor defense, but Clay, all his shots were on balance and clean looks. More Booker. And even the way he kind of carries himself reminds me of Harden. A little bit quiet, a quiet arrogance, and I don't think Clay likes it, right? I don't think Clay wanted to let Booker get buckets on him tonight. Again, look at the footwork, but sometimes less is more from the big fella. I thought he did a little too much in the post. Sometimes just use your size. We didn't see that. McKinney, that's where he's lacking. In transition, ball handling, we were talking about Daniel House Jr. That's where House Jr. is a little more dynamic. McKinney coughs it up, and Phoenix is matching buckets with us here in this first quarter. Here comes new acquisition Kelly Oubre Jr. from the Trevor Ariza deal, and he's played really nice. He's had a resurgence, a change of scenery. Then I was floored to see Dragan Bender in the game in the first quarter. I thought, frankly, they had given up on him. He was the 4th pick, remember, and it was the year after Porzingis, and they were like, oh, this guy's going to be like Porzingis. Wrong. Durant has started to find that knack for end-of-quarter threes again that we saw last season, and I love it. Second quarter, second unit, they run this little pop free throw line jumper for Jerebko. And then you're going to see more of Steph out in transition. He got, I don't know, he probably had 5 or 6 layups in this game. And Phoenix, I think the effort is getting better, but they're not communicating. And I don't know how high of IQ players they have defensively. Obviously, that was Ariza's role, and he's gone. You see Crawford in there hounding Steph. He doesn't keep playing, and Steph makes him pay for it. But shout out Jay Craw. He liked one of my tweets that I mentioned in his a couple weeks ago. And you can see S-Dot very familiar with Craw's rhythm, blocks the jumper. When do you see that? Oubre Jr., you like the juice, man. They need a little nasty on this team. Too many of these guys are soft-spoken, and they don't really have the juice. More Ayton, look, like, finish that. That's all you hear about this kid out here in Phoenix is he's so nice. He's too nice, right? And I don't know if you can change that, but his physical attributes and skill should make him an offensive weapon either way, but I don't know if the nasty will come. You see the turnover and Steph kick it out, but Phoenix ran it, and I thought we were a little in danger of losing this. This was an obvious trap game, New Year's Eve. Everybody wants to get out of the arena and probably get out of Phoenix, right? And so Curry uses the timeout. As you see, the score is tied, and then here's a full court press. Oubre is an effort player. Josh Jackson's an effort player. Mikal Bridges, I wasn't impressed with his motor per se, but you can see Igor has them playing a little bit harder. They don't know how to execute it, right? Livingston gets to his spot right in the 7-footer's face. And I'm focusing a little bit on Ayton in this highlight, as you can tell, because he's the #1 pick. There he is again, just not being big, right? Not using his size, but he's so young. I'm not saying it's not going to come, but it's definitely a ways away. And Book, he averages 25 a game. There's a Harden-like move. He just understands how to get his. And again, that kind of cocky, silent demeanor, right? Here we go out in transition. I think the story of this game for the Warriors, honestly, was probably this kid right here, Jordan Bell. Look at the catch and good court awareness. In the past, he may have tried to dunk that, or he may have taken a dribble and messed that up. Bell seems dialed in. It looks like he's recalibrated himself. There's the steal, saves the ball out in transition. You're gonna see Slim stretch for the easy slam. KD picked his spots, kind of a, relatively quiet night. I want you to take a look at the footwork here. This is immaculate, and you just don't see it from a guy his size. That just comes from hours and hours in the gym. He doesn't have to think about it. It's muscle memory. And you can say the same thing about this man right here. And again, have you guys noticed he's getting his shots in like different spots on the floor the last month or so, I would say. And this is where Ayton shines. The face-up game, much like LaMarcus Aldridge, just a buttery soft touch, and I think it's kind of what he prefers. We've seen Steph leave some floaters at home, now some floaters on the road, but the floater game is back for Steph, and I'm all for it, man. It's one of the prettier aspects of his game. The extra pass, Iguodala, go ahead. And then this is always a good barometer for how Ig's feeling is. Does he try to finish above the rim, and does he try to finish above the rim? He tries to take off and put Booker all over Instagram, but he couldn't finish through the contact. Second half, this is the difference in Booker. In the past, there's no way he makes that pass. Soft little pass to Ayton for the lob. I've accused him of being a tremendous ball hog, and he seems to be becoming more of a playmaker, Steph doing what he does. And you see young Bridges complaining. These guys in pick and roll defense are very suspect. You got 3 rookies out there, Looney biding his time, getting the and one. Basketball is a game of deception. Look at him use the fake handoff and fools Draymond to the rim. TJ Warren, man, 25 years old, averaging 18 a game, 43% from the three-point line. Now, the Suns do weird stuff, so like I said, I think teams are going to try to poach him. Frankly, the Warriors should call about him. Honestly, I just don't know what they would have to offer. Ayton face-up game is already fully cooked. More Jordan Bell, more catching the ball cleanly here. One hand spike. I don't know if he's using stickum or what. Maybe he's stretching his hands at night. Look at this attack from Booker. Now, he's not as physical as Harden, right? But he has that slow down step, and he doesn't obviously travel as much as Harden, but I don't know. I just see similarities. Now, watch Ayton's patience. To his credit, he's not sped up. He doesn't rush things like you see a lot of like Bagley and Ayton are like polar opposites at 1 and 2 pick. You're going to see Draymond knock down the corner 3, so that's encouraging. In this game, it somehow just, it was never really competitive. It didn't feel that way, and then it just slipped into garbage time at some point here in this third quarter. Bell, again, just under control, not trying to out-jump people. Did you see how he just got that up quickly? Jamal Crawford, yeah, he's like 39. Remember there was rumors we were going to pick him up? Watch him run the pick and roll with the rookie, finishing with the left hand, and he's just playing for the love of the game, right? This is probably the last team he wants to play on, but he just wants to play the game. Clay, again, straight up and down, wide open look. And then you're going to see him get out in transition here. Bell, I think, pokes this ball looser. It's a kick ball. And this pass is much harder to make than you think. Watch him sail it way high. You're moving fast, the adrenaline. That takes skill and experience to make that pass on the move like that. Bell catching and finishing. And again, you could argue this might have been his best game of the year, honestly. And maybe that just speaks to how poorly he's played. But it was very encouraging from Bell. Now the laba. About 10 points, 6 boards, and 2 assists in 15 minutes for Bell. Jerebko, this is something we have to monitor. He missed a few bunnies at the rim, and it could be a sign of his legs getting tired as the season pushes here to the midway part. Watch KD, KYP. He knows Josh Jackson doesn't really want to shoot that 3. Good discipline, draws the charge on the struggling Josh Jackson. Oubre, very physical. Him and KD got a little bit chippy here towards the end of this quarter. KD, another end of quarter 3 ball. And like I said, it just drifted into garbage time, and it never got competitive out in transition. Quinn Cook, the dagger. That's tough with the trailing contest, and all is good in Warrior World in this one. Look at Draymond. Is Draymond talking to KD here? Interesting little interaction between them. Nothing, it didn't look like there was venom behind it, but everybody communicating and dapping up, taking care of business on the road here. Steph came out in the fourth quarter, and he was just gunslinging. And we talk about these staggered minutes and how they have to adjust to it, but it's going to allow both of those guys to really have moments where they can just getting buckets. Steph finished with 34, 9, and 4, something like that. A nice stat line for Steph. And look at Booker here, and again, this effort. They don't have a sustained effort. You see flashes of effort from the young Suns. Steph taking full advantage. And then I'm going to highlight Draymond defense again, because this is how to guard someone bigger than you 101. He doesn't allow him any space to get momentum towards the basket. Sucks it up and then just stands tall. More Steph pick and roll. And you're going to see McKinney be the beneficiary here with the two-handed lob. Now, a couple more little pointed things out here in this garbage time. Booker, this is another example where he's starting to buy into what the Suns want to do. And in the past, he would have just hoisted that. He only had 20 points on the night, but instead, he lets his big man get the touches, and I'm glad to see them starting to develop Ayton. In the beginning of the year, he just wasn't touching the ball nearly enough. Another terrible effort to the corner. This time, it's Bridges in the classroom. And the Warriors do what they need to do here New Year's Eve in Phoenix. And you get a confidence-boosting performance from Jordan Bell off the bench. They have a few days rest and then a nice matchup with the Rockets at Oracle Arena, where quietly James Harden has reclaimed probably the first spot in the MVP race. You know those games always can get spicy. Happy New Year's, y'all. I'm out.
So long as like alchemy.